Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. So I have been running the CS style rear trunk lip on the car for the last 2 months or so. This was one of the first videos I did. This is actually by a brand called Auto Technic. I have the rear diffuser, I also have the front lip and carbon mirrors, but I installed this as one of the first things to update the car. It had some really kind of low quality carbon already on the car when I purchased it. So I removed that and put this one on. So this style is really nice. However, after living with it for the last couple months, I realized that I'm not a big fan of the kind of divot in the middle. I much prefer the M Performance style, which is just kind of one single blade. There's no crazy bumps or angles or anything. To me, I think it just looks a little bit cleaner for my car. I'm not a big fan of the giant kind of high kick spoilers that are offered out there, but to each their own. That's why there's options out there. That's why the aftermarket world is great, because there's a lot of options to choose from and you can pick whatever you want. So what we're actually doing in this video is going to remove this from the car and install the M Performance one. I actually just ordered the M Performance one tonight, but this video is going to be one cohesive video, removing this and installing the new one. So I have been considering taking this off and selling it, but I didn't have the motivation simply because I was like, it's okay. I don't mind it. It's not the end of the world. And at least it's better than what was on there. But one of my subscribers actually reached out to me and was like, hey, I really like that spoiler. You know, where'd you get it from? And I was like, hey, actually, I might list this for sale. Are you interested? And they bought it in like 2 seconds. So got to remove this, got to ship it out to him. I'm going to ship it out tomorrow afternoon, so I need to remove it from the car, obviously. But once the new M Performance one comes in, we're going to be installing it. It's going to be in the same video, but I wanted to document this, obviously taking this off and kind of showing you all the process. Don't get me wrong, this style is very nice, and I do think it's a very, very high quality and nice piece. I think I just prefer the kind of cleaner look of the M Performance, where it just goes straight across. Obviously, you guys will be able to see a comparison in the video, you know, just the difference between the two. But this is going to be very easy to remove since I just installed it a couple months ago. So what I do is take a heat gun, heat up underneath kind of the trunk area where it's connected, let the double-sided tape kind of heat up and get soft. Then I take some fishing line, put it underneath the spoiler, kind of cut through any of the tape that's still on there, and it comes right off. In order to take any residual off, you can use some Goo Gone, you can use one of those rubber wheels, which I'm not a big fan of. Or you can use your finger and some heat and it comes right off. So we're gonna go ahead, get this removed, packaged up and shipped out to the new owner. Then once we get this all cleaned up and everything, I'll show you what it looks like without a spoiler. But honestly, it looks pretty decent. I was actually even considering running no spoiler for a little bit. I was actually even thinking about getting the OEM mineral gray lip spoiler, the one that comes on the car, which is a very, very small little lip. It goes on the back, it's very subtle. But being that I have a few carbon bits on the car and I like the way that the carbon rear spoiler looks, I figured I would go with the M Performance one. So let's go ahead, get this off, clean it up, and get ready for the new spoiler. All right, so I didn't even need to use heat since this is a fairly newly installed part. So I just took some fishing line and kind of cut through. Also, sometimes I've realized doing this 1,000 times that using a heat gun can actually leave more residual on the paint of the car than just using a fishing line and cutting it off. Obviously, if the part's been on for a very long time, you want to heat it up, but this came off pretty easily. So there's still some tape obviously left over, but simply just gonna peel it up and clean this up. So I'll do that off camera. I'll spare you the details and I'll show you the finished product. And we're gonna be rocking no spoiler for a little bit until the new M Performance one comes in. So let me get this cleaned up and then I'll show you what it looks like. All right guys, so we finally finished getting all the adhesive off. It was kind of a pain in the butt. The 3M double-sided tape that I used was super, super strong, so it really kind of got stuck behind on the paint, but it's really good stuff, so I'm not surprised. I actually had to run out to the store to go get some Goo Gone. I also got some plastic razor blades to kind of scrape off most of the residual, and then ended up all coming off. I also did a very, very quick polish on it as well to get rid of any surface scratches, you know, very, very light surface scratches from getting that off, and everything came out beautifully. There's no scratches or anything in it, and yeah, so the rear end does look a little naked without anything on there, I will admit, but it doesn't look bad, but it definitely needs something, and I think the M Performance rear spoiler is going to really, really finish it off. With the Auto Technic carbon fiber M Performance style diffuser, I think it's going to look really, really nice and kind of tie everything in. So I packaged up the CS style one. It's all boxed up actually in the truck, ready to go tomorrow to send that out. Then once we get the new M Performance spoiler in, I will jump back on this video, installing it, and showing you guys the completed looks. So yeah, the CS style was definitely short-lived, but I do think going with the M Performance, at least on my car, it's going to look much cleaner. So I'm looking forward to getting it in. But once it comes in, I will definitely update you guys and let you know how the install goes and how it looks. All right, guys, a couple days later, and the M Performance carbon lip spoiler has come in. This thing is beautiful. I just did a quick test fit on the trunk just to kind of see how it was going to be positioned and everything. And it's crazy. It literally lays perfectly flat on the trunk, so there's no crazy gaps or anything. That's the best thing about OEM parts. You honestly do not have to worry about fitment because it's literally made for that exact part. There's no better day than getting a giant box from IND. The amount of bubble wrap and packing material just to get this piece safely to me without any damage is pretty impressive, so I can definitely appreciate them taking the extra time to wrap this properly. I'm actually shipping this box out tomorrow. It is filled and packed with my old diffuser and my old lip that the car came with. I ended up selling them off since I have no use for them. So I got them packed in here with all the IND bubble wrap and everything, so it should arrive safely to the new owner. So I got to go ahead and put this in the truck and ship that out tomorrow. But we are going to install the new M Performance spoiler. As you can see, the weave is absolutely beautiful, and it's going to match all of the other OEM carbon that is on the car. The weave is perfect. There's no crazy pulls or anything like that. And I'm very happy with just the overall product, just looking at it. And if you turn it over here, you can see it's an OEM BMW part with a little label right there. And they got the markings and everything. So there you go. You do have to supply your own 3M tape. I have a bunch of it, so I'm not too worried. But you can actually see where they want you to put the double-sided tape. So you can see the darker area on the bottom and then the top, and that is where we're going to put the actual double-sided tape. I'm also going to use this. This is some adhesion promoter. What you actually do is put that down on the part of the car that you're going to install your new modification. Anything that you're using double-sided tape, it really works. What it actually does is it helps the 3M tape stick to the body of the car, so you won't have any gaps or anything like that. And I have a bunch of this kind of laying around from previous projects, so I figured I might as well use it. So we do have the trunk already prepped. I already polished it out. I wiped it down with some IPA and everything, so we are good to go. So all I got to simply do is lay down the adhesion promoter, let that get tacky, and we can go ahead and stick it on. Now I'm going to show you the proper way to install something like this because it can get a little tricky very quickly if you're not careful, but I have a method of doing this to make sure you get it perfect every single time. So we got the spoiler flipped over because I'm going to apply the double-sided tape. This is what I use, kind of hard to see, but it is 3M Scotch Extreme mounting tape. This stuff is super strong. Also, it is black, so it kind of hides things well. It's not gray or anything where it's going to stand out. It's going to be a nice black, kind of blend in with the carbon piece. So I'll link it below if you guys are interested in picking some up. I have a bunch of it in my drawer because I'm always using this stuff. So let's go ahead and just line the darker areas with the double-sided tape on both the bottom as well as the top area as well. Now this part kind of dips in a little bit, so you don't want to get too close to the edge because you don't want the tape showing. I usually kind of bring it down a little bit so it's kind of hidden. I'm going to do some trimming because this is much thicker than this area. So I'll just lay it on a big piece right here and then trim off the extra. But let me go ahead, get this prepped, get this ready, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, so we got the double-sided tape on, ready to go. So now we're going to head over to the trunk, wipe this on, let it get a little tacky so it's nice and sticky. Then we can go ahead and apply the new spoiler. So let's get everything set. Let's get this down and get this on the car. All right, so what you want to do is actually peel up the tape on the ends of both sides. So what we're actually going to do is line it up, pull these little tabs so they're sticking out, and then pull one strip as you apply it. This way it allows you to position it properly and then not get stuck right away. So let's go ahead, position it on the back of the trunk, get everything set, and then we can stick it down. Alright, so it's pretty easy to line this up. The little lip that comes over the back of the trunk here, you kind of just position the spoiler on the curvature of the trunk right here and on this side as well, and it kind of falls into place. So you want a nice even line over there. Kind of hard to see on this side, but same thing here. We got even gappage there, like an eighth of an inch there. Come over here, and we got about an eighth of an inch over here. So what I'm gonna do is pull the top part, pull all the red tape out, stick it down, and then go ahead and pull the back. So let's get this on, let's finish it up. All right guys, so spoiler is on, and I am so much happier with this than the previous one. I really did like the style of it, but for my car and what I'm going for, I think the OEM M Performance just really works so much better. I have the M Performance style rear diffuser, so everything just flows super nice. I really like how much of the carbon lip actually comes up onto the trunk. It's a pretty thick piece, or a pretty wide piece I should say, and it kind of juts back out. Kind of hard to see, but it has a little kind of indent right here. You can see it right there, which is a nice little kind of style, little design cue. And then it wraps around the trunk perfectly. I mean, obviously fitment is ridiculously perfect. It's not coming up on any of the corners or anything. It's nice and flat. And I'm like over the moon. I'm so much happier that I decided to bite the bullet, spend a little bit more money, and get the proper spoiler that I wanted on the car the whole time. So yeah, there we go. Now what I'm gonna do is actually kind of clean it up a little bit. I'm actually gonna ceramic coat it. I've been using Sequartz Deluxe on all of my carbon. It's been holding up very well. So I'm gonna throw a coat on there, get it cleaned up, and we should be good to go. So let me go do that real quick. I got the ceramic on it, letting it kind of cure a little bit, wait for that kind of rainbow effect. And you just take a clean microfiber and wipe it off. All right guys, so here are some quick shots of the spoiler in the garage with the lights on it and the door closed. Honestly, there's just some things that I install on any one of my cars that as soon as I put it on, I'm like, yup, this is it. This is gonna be here forever. I do not need to change this. And when I put the CS style one on, I was back and forth if I liked it or not. And deep down, I knew I really wanted to go with the M Performance one. And I'm so much happier that I made the switch. It just fits the car way better. The CS style looks good on the actual CS because it's specific to that model, that trim. But the M Performance one, just honestly, it looks way better. It gives a really nice design cue of the rear trunk. It reminds me a lot of my E46. I had the CSL boot lid, the trunk, and I absolutely loved that trunk. Honestly, that is a must on an E46, and this really reminds me of that shape and kind of that kick that comes up. And yeah, I am so thrilled. The Autotechnic CS style that I had in there fit well, but it didn't fit like OEM. And there really is nothing like an OEM piece, especially BMW M Performance pieces. The carbon is super top notch. So it's not like you're getting some shoddy carbon. This is real deal. This is some real nice stuff. And it just fits perfectly. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for a trunk lip for your F80 M3, highly recommend going with the M Performance. It's nice and subtle without being too in your face, and it really does look beautiful. And I mean, the fitment, it speaks for itself. So if you have any questions at all about the spoiler or anything else on the car, please let me know in the comments below. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.